Lawsuit has been filed against the man who won a record-breaking $2 billion Powerball jackpot, claiming the winning ticket was stolen.
Here are 7 lottery winners who get sued immediately after winning. From lucky winners who won several millions to our latest $2 billion lottery winner. These winners faced challenges as soon as they got their hands on the money. Number 7. Abraham Shakespeare. Abraham lived in Florida as a son of an orange picker. His early years were nothing glamorous, with no more than $5 in his pocket and a meager hourly wage of $8. Shakespeare was living life on the edge. His life was dotted with minor crimes and misdemeanors, which is why he had been behind bars twice. He did day labor, washing dishes, and worked as a garbage man, barely scraping by. Then one fateful day in November 2006, while accompanying a truck driver named Michael Ford on an overnight food delivery route, Shakespeare decided to take a chance on a lottery ticket. With the last of his $5, he purchased 2 quick picks at a mini-mart. And so, it happened. The stars aligned for Shakespeare that day, and he won a staggering $31 million jackpot. Opting for a lump sum, he walked away with a little over $11 million after taxes. Suddenly, Shakespeare was no longer a struggling laborer. He was a millionaire. However, as swiftly as his fortune arrived, it began to decrease. Child support payments, a trust fund for his son, loan repayments, and a new home. His fortunes were depleting. And then, a twist no one saw coming. The truck driver, Michael Ford, sued Shakespeare. He claimed that the winning ticket, and by extension, the remaining fortune, was rightfully his. He claimed that it was Ford who bought the ticket and gave it to Shakespeare. Abraham Shakespeare, however, stood his ground, denying Ford's allegations. The court favored Shakespeare, but the legal battles extended. Then, in April 2009, Shakespeare mysteriously disappeared. No note, no phone call, nothing. Nada. His family reported him missing, and posters with his face started showing up around town, asking for clues. Sadly, things only got worse. Later, it was revealed that a woman named Doris Dee Moore came into his life. She played him by saying she wanted to help him manage his money, but Moore had other, more sinister ideas. By January 2010, the worst happened. Police found Shakespeare's body, and later, Moore was found guilty of his murder. The story of Abraham Shakespeare is a dark reminder of how sometimes good luck can turn into bad luck very quickly. Even though he hit the jackpot, Shakespeare's life did not have the happy ending we all dream of when we think about winning the lottery. After winning the lottery, the man spent most of his time in court or worrying about losing his fortune. This is no way a happy life. Luckily, that might not be the case for our next winner on the list. You might recognize him for being all over the media recently. Number 6. Edwin Castro. Castro's story begins on a regular day in November 2022 when he decided to purchase a Powerball ticket. Little did he know that tiny piece of paper would turn his life upside down. The day of the draw arrived, and guess what? Castro hit the jackpot, a jaw-dropping $2 billion, the largest Powerball prize ever. Opting for a lump sum payment, he found himself instantly wealthy to the tune of $997.6 million. However, the celebration was short-lived as a fellow Californian named Jose Rivera stepped forward with a shocking claim. He stated that he was the rightful owner of the ticket, alleging it was stolen from him on the very day he bought it. What a twist! According to Rivera, he bought the winning ticket from Jose's service center in Altadena and then misplaced it. He claimed his then landlord, Irachi F. Romero, found the ticket but refused to return it, promising they could split the winnings if it turned up. Despite Romero's claim that he saw Rivera with the ticket, he had no clue how it ended up with Castro and why he was part of the lawsuit. The mystery deepened, and the Pasadena police got involved. To the police, it all seems like a petty theft because guess how much the ticket cost? Just $10. Interestingly, the California Lottery Commission maintained that Castro was the legitimate winner and did not investigate stolen tickets. But Rivera's lawyers insisted on examining the surveillance footage to settle who bought the winning ticket. Joe Chahayat, the owner of the service center, was left in a bind. At first, he said that he believed Castro was the real winner, but recently, he has changed his statement. He now claims that without any CCTV footage or any other proof, there is no way for him to remember if Castro bought that ticket. The court case is still ongoing. The one-time lucky winner, Edwin Castro himself, is facing an unexpected legal battle. One thing is sure, this lottery tale is far from over, proving once again that winning the jackpot can indeed invite more trouble than joy. The next person on our list thought he was the luckiest man alive when he won $16.2 million in 1998. But was he? He ended up regretting winning at all later in his life. Number 5. Bud Post. Bud's story begins with him having just $2.46 in his account. Disabled and strapped for cash, he saw a ray of hope, a $32 million lottery. Bud, eager for a change in luck, sold his ring for $40. He gave the ring to his landlady and girlfriend, Anne, and asked her to buy him 40 lottery tickets. His luck turned, winning him half of the grand prize. But as they say, more money, more problems. He didn't contact a financial advisor, and this was his biggest mistake in life. It would change his life forever yet again. He started spending his newfound fortune uncontrollably. Luxury gifts, leases on fancy restaurants for his siblings, a used car lot for his brother, even an airplane. Bud was living his dream. Yet, within 3 months, his dream turned into a nightmare. Bud, drowning in his impulsive purchases, now had $500,000 in debt. Despite the looming debt, Bud didn't decrease his spending. His next lottery payment? He splurged on a $395,000 mansion. His dreams, it seemed, knew no bounds to whatever was happening around him. But the universe had other plans. Next came a twist straight out of a crime thriller. His own brother Jeffrey was blinded by the easy money he saw in his brother's name. So he hatched a plot to murder Bud and his 6th wife. The plan, however, was caught before it worked, and Jeffrey was put behind bars. Just as Bud might have had thought the storm was passing, a lawsuit rolled in. Anne, the woman who bought the lucky ticket, claimed she was owed a share of Bud's fortune. She was not in the wrong though, but Bud thought it was a baseless demand, so he put in $129,000 in legal fees to win the case. 3 years later, and Bud lost the case, and that money too. He was even ordered to hand over a third of his winnings to Anne, a staggering $5.5 million. Bud had to sell virtually everything to pay up, and then the unthinkable. At that point, he'd taken loans from many, right? So one day, a person showed up at his door asking for his money, but Bud was frustrated and angry at his situation that he ended up shooting that man. Of course, the police found out about the murder and put him behind bars. Freed from prison, Bud was back to square one. His jackpot win, once a beacon of hope, had turned into a whirlwind of debts, betrayal, and courtrooms. The man who thought he would find his fairy tale ending was instead trapped in an unending nightmare. For the rest of his life, he survived on a monthly $450 disability check and food stamps. Number 4. Tonda Lynn Dickerson. In the late 90s, Tonda Lynn Dickerson was a typical Waffle House waitress, recently divorced and earning a modest income. Little did she know, her life was about to take a drastic turn. One lucky day in March '99, Edward Seward, a regular diner, tipped her not with change, but a lottery ticket. It was a unique gesture, but it was about to become extraordinary. Days rolled on, and with them came the draw. Unbelievably, Tonda's ticket struck gold, a whopping $10 million. The money was a godsend, and she chose to take it in annual payments of $275,000 for 30 years. Overnight, her reality flipped, and she left her serving job behind. But the fairy tale started to turn grim when her Waffle House coworkers got to know about her win. They claimed she had broken a promise to share her win. This verbal pact, they argued, was a binding contract, and they deserved a cut. Legal troubles mounted, and within a month, Tonda was struggling with her expensive legal battles. The court decided against her, siding with her colleagues who testified to her supposed promise. But Tonda refused to take the court's offer to keep just $3 million of her fortune. She decided to invest in a family business instead. However, the legal battles were not over. Edward SUED, the man whose tip changed her life, came forward. He claimed Tonda had promised him a new truck if she'd won. Once again, the court was involved, but this time, they deemed Tonda's promise as not legally binding. A victory at last. Yet her troubles were far from over. In a shocking twist, her ex-husband, Stacy Martin, kidnapped her at gunpoint. He took her on a boat and thought he would be able to take his share of the winnings or everything that she had. After being held captive, she found a way to turn the tables. She asked her ex-husband if she could accept a call on her phone. And right when she had a chance, she shot Stacy in self-defense. Although he survived, it was another horrifying episode in her increasingly difficult life. To add to her misery, Tonda was then hit with a colossal $1 million gift tax and a significant income tax bill, a repercussion of her investment in the family business. In short, the glittering jackpot that was meant to solve all problems became a source of continuous distress for her. Number 3. Americo Lopes. Welcome to Elizabeth, New Jersey, a small town teeming with hard-working souls. There lived a group of Portuguese-American construction workers. These men were friends for a long, long time, so they adopted a tradition, pooling their money every now and then to buy lottery tickets. Among these 6 friends was Americo Lopes. He was the one who was entrusted with the task of purchasing these tickets on behalf of the group. Then came November 2009, when the impossible happened. They won the lottery. But instead of sharing the excitement news with his buddies, Lopes kept the win a secret. He gave notice for his job and quit out of the blue. When asked, he lied to his friends, saying he needed foot surgery. No one suspected a thing. But unlucky for Lopes, the truth came out by the spring of 2010. A friend found Lopes' name online, holding a huge check. They were all shocked and hurt. And then his friends knew they had to do something. And guess what? They sued Lopes, saying they deserved a share of the winnings because the winning ticket was bought with their shared money. Their claim went to court. The court case went on for several weeks. It was hard for everyone. These were friends who now had to fight in court. Lopes kept claiming that he had bought the ticket with his own money and was separate from the group tickets they would buy every now and then. His wife said in court that Lopes had told one of the friends, Daniel Estevez, about the win in March 2010. Estevez was so upset, he cried. But in the end, the evidence was against Lopes. The jury agreed with the friends and ordered that Lopes had to share his winnings with them. Candino Silva Sr. was one of the 5 friends. When the verdict came, he cried. The reason was not the happiness about the winnings. His son, Silva Jr., revealed the reason and said the whole case had been very stressful. But they were hopeful about the outcome. Once the verdict was made, the winnings, which had been on hold since 2010, were shared among the friends. Even with the extra money, they didn't plan any big changes. They took a 2-week vacation, but planned to go back to work on their construction jobs. These were the same jobs they used to do with Lopes. In a strange twist, another person, Lourdes Salinas from South San Francisco, had also won the lottery on the same day with the same numbers. Lucky for her, the court case in New Jersey didn't affect her prize. So the story of Americo Lopes shows that winning the lottery is not always a dream come true. For him, it led to a court case and lost friendships. Number 2. Denise Rossi. Denise Rossi was just like anyone else, married and living a normal life with her husband, Thomas. They'd been together for 25 years, but then, out of nowhere, she shocked her husband by asking for a divorce. What Thomas didn't know was that Denise had a secret. Just a few days before she asked for a divorce, Denise had won a whopping $1.3 million in the California lottery. But she didn't share this news with anyone, not even her husband. In fact, Denise went to great lengths to hide her new fortune. She even went as far as giving her mother's address to receive her winnings, so her husband wouldn't find out. It was a well-executed plan, but it was not foolproof. 2 years after the divorce, Thomas received a letter. But not just any letter, a letter from the lottery company itself. They sent it to the wrong address, but just the right place for Thomas. The letter had slipped through the cracks. Now, the cat was out of the bag. Feeling cheated, Thomas decided to take the matter to court. According to California law, all assets acquired during a marriage are considered joint property. This means that Denise should have disclosed her winnings during the divorce proceedings. The case went to court, and Denise argued that she didn't disclose her winnings because she didn't want her husband to get any of it. But the judge didn't see it her way. Instead, the judge ruled that Denise had violated laws. They charged Denise with fraud and malice. As a punishment, the judge awarded her ex-husband every penny of her lottery winnings. In the end, Denise's attempt to keep her lottery winnings to herself backfired. Not only did she lose all her winnings, but her actions also damaged her relationship with her ex-husband. Number 1. Iorwerth Hoare. Iorwerth Hoare was not just any inmate. He was a convicted rapist serving a life sentence. His days seemed to be marked by the mundane routine of prison life until a stroke of luck, or misfortune, depending on how you look at it, hit him. In 2004, Hoare won a staggering $9 million in the UK National Lottery. He had purchased the winning ticket during a weekend furlough, a brief release from his prison cell. It was a win that made headlines, leaving the public both shocked and enraged. A convict, and particularly one with such a heinous record, was now a multi-millionaire. One person, however, saw an opportunity in the shocking turn of events. This person was none other than a victim of Hoare's past crimes. This victim was Shirley, who Hoare tried to rape but ended up having a life sentence when caught. So, upon hearing the news, Shirley filed a lawsuit against Hoare for the pain and trauma she endured. The case was a difficult one, but she did not back down. Her lawyers pushed the boundaries. They maintained that a victim should be allowed to claim compensation if the offender later came into the money. The case went all the way to the UK's highest court, the House of Lords. In an unprecedented verdict, the court ruled in the victim's favor. This landmark case not only changed the life of the victim, but also altered the legal landscape in the UK, redefining the rules of compensation claims. Hoare was forced to part with $1 million of his lottery fortune. And what did Shirley do with it? She turned her pain into power and gave it all away. Every single dollar of the $1 million went to charity. But not just any charity. Shirley donated it to a foundation dedicated to supporting victims of sexual assault. In this way, Shirley transformed a bitter experience into a beacon of hope for others who had suffered like her. These stories might be quite shocking, but to be fair, they're not as crazy as the stories of lottery winners who ended up spending their lives behind bars. Want to hear more? Check it out now.